What's good, everybody, on this fine Sunday? Lots of NFL football going on. We diving in right now to kind of hit that in between the 425 games and the later games. We're going to talk the weekend, Buckeye football, college football in general. Lots of good things, lots of fun things to talk about. I've been looking forward to the day, man. Listen, do me a favor. Hit that like button, that little thumb you see, click it, punch it, slap it. Do whatever you got to do. Also, subscribe if you have not already done so. Subscribe, hit that bell. Notifications will pop up on your phone when we go live so you don't miss any videos from us. And again, like I said, we're going to talk about the Buckeye victory over Grambling. I mean, dominant. We're going to talk about the young pups that were biting. We're going to talk about that team up north losing as we predicted, although Oklahoma tried very hard to make it harder than what it should have been. And we're going to talk about some other upsets in games and games coming up. And also, before we get into it, reminder that our super chats, when you send a super chat tonight, goes to the military, or pay it forward. We called it a pay it forward. Military, first responders. We're going to take care of them because they take care of us. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know what it is. Nevada, what is up, brother? How you feeling, man? Your Packers look good tonight.
Oh man, Packers took care of business against the dreaded Lions, and I mean, what a perfect weekend! The Buckeyes throw a
Yeah.
shutout. The Wolverines lay an egg as predicted. I said before that game, you guys know this. I said I don't believe that game does not need to be close. I don't think that game's going to be close. I think Oklahoma's going to smack them around. I think Underwood's going to be exposed, and that's what happened. And then, like you said, the Packers win today. So the perfect clean sweep on the weekend, and lots of good things to talk about. So where do you want to start, man? There's so much to unwrap here.
Yeah, I mean, I say we start with the Buckeyes. Let's start with the Buckeyes. Then we'll get to the team up north, and then around the country because there were some upsets, and some eye raising type of games. It wasn't the greatest slate of games, but there was some surprises, and so I think we should go in that direction. But listen, first and foremost, we told y'all on Friday, okay, we knew this was going to be a bloodbath. We knew Grambling was going to come in here and they were going to get destroyed. Okay, there was no doubt about it. It was just a matter about how bad the score was going to be. Okay, so we're not on here for all you because you know about it. You know how it is. People, haters, and even some fans want to say it was just Grambling. We know it was just Grambling. Okay, but like we said on Friday, can you focus? You just beat the number one team in the country. In a big game, biggest regular season game in years. You're locked in, you're focused. Can you lock in and focus against an overmatched opponent to beat the psychological factor of, I know I'm better than him, but can you lock in, execute, be disciplined, make plays? Because all of those things matter at Washington a few weeks from now, at Illinois. You see what we're saying? So that's kind of the thing we're going to touch on. So, Nevada, I wanted to just lay that out and I'll kick it to you. What stood out to you most about the Grambling game with all the players? I mean, literally just about everybody played. The GAs played. What's your thoughts on the performance, brother?
Well, first I want to address the it's only Grambling thing because let's change that topic and say it's only Austin P, it's only FIU, it's only
Preach.
New Mexico. You know what I'm saying? And you watch these teams just struggle against them, and you're like, man, I don't care who it is. You got to go up there and for us to play a game where we shut them out, only commit one penalty, um, play a nearly flawless game, look crisp, look organized. As you said, everybody got plays. 24 different guys got tackles. 60 plus guys play. I mean, that's just a remarkable performance for Ohio State. And a lot of other teams, a lot of other well-regarded teams, wish that they had taken care of their business the way the Buckeyes do. And the Buckeyes, they've got another interesting opponent coming up this week. It's only Ohio U, but Ohio, beat West Virginia this week.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
they're not trash. So I always wait for when's the letdown, when's the step back, because no team plays, 20 weeks in a row of perfect football or whatever it is. They're always going to do it. Um, you hope it's not this week, but Ryan Day's got him going, man. He's got him going. I can tell you that spirits will be really good in practice this week because so many people did play, so many people made significant contributions, and we may have found out some things that we kind of already knew, but I have my uncomfortable truths column out there today, and you know, Bo Jackson as running back looks pretty good. Now, I'm not saying he's better than James Peoples. I'm not saying he's better than CJ Donaldson. I'm not saying he knows the protections well enough or the playbook well enough to merit jumping up there. But just as a running back, just when you're just looking at explosion, shiftiness, acceleration, aggression, whole, he looks really good. He looks really good, and it's not
Yes.
crazy for freshman running backs to get the ball because for freshmen, it's really with the exceptions of knowing the protections and pass flow and stuff like that. It's basically here's the ball, run as fast as you can towards the other goal line, and guys can do that. That's why freshmen can step into that spot and do it. So. I'm not so sure if he hasn't made a case for maybe a little bit more playing time or maybe something because we're kind of lacking of that and I know we've been spoiled. We were spoiled last year with Trey and with Quinshawn, and so far CJ and James are not Trey and Quinshawn. They're just not, and that's not. I'm not trying to be Mr. Mean or Mr. Super Critical and things like that, but maybe Bo Jackson. I mean, I know there's some talk within within the Woody about maybe he deserves a few more touches. Maybe we can see what he needs to do. Turbo, obviously didn't get out there this weekend, but maybe he's Isaiah West, another guy that looked, kind of escapable out there, So I think we need a little jolt from the running back room. And that may be a little something. That may be a little teaser that we saw this weekend against Grambling. Another one, I just have to say it, but Mylan Graham. And Mylan, I know it's just small sample size and stuff like that, but you know, I know you like Brandon Innes. I know Brandon's a captain. I know he's a holler guy. I know he's a tough guy, but I mean, Mylan's awful good. I mean, Mylan's a guy that you gotta, we gotta consider, what he can do when he's out there and stuff. So we might have seen glimpses about them. Riley Pettijohn. Yeah, and the only reason Riley Pettijohn and TJ Alford aren't playing are named Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Peyton
Yeah.
Pierce. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Because we got
yeah.
some
Oh
really,
yeah.
really good linebackers out there. Um, but with other things, you might see some guys get kind of jockeying for position and some things change around. So I think we found out a lot. We found out that Ryan Day has got a really good finger on the pulse of this team. He pushed the team really hard last week to try to avoid the letdown, and they responded with a very crisp performance against an overwhelmed Grambling team. But I thought it was a good game. You could tell by hearing the Grambling players and coaches talk afterwards what a great experience it was for them.
Yeah.
And so there was no nonsense, there's no silliness in the game. It was just a great afternoon of college football, and the Buckeyes took care of business. And I was really I got to be honest, I was really impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, same. A lot you said there. I'll start with the tail end. The Grambling coach is a class guy, man. He had he had his press conferences, after the game, and he was just very classy, very respectful. Again, he knew what it was about. He knew these rosters were not comparable, but he thought his kids fought hard. He said our players were very respectful, and it was a great experience. It's a I'm never going to forget this experience in my life type of thing. And so it was kudos, and you can see at the end of the game, him and Day talking for a little bit, just respect. You know what I'm saying? They both know what it is, but I think it was a clean game. As far as his players playing hard, they tried their best. We literally could have dropped back and passed and scored every time. We could have threw up to Jeremiah Smith. We could have scored 130 points if we decided just to throw the ball every time. It is what it is. But let me see. You said several things. Yes, let's go back to what you said about the players. A lot of the players playing, you could tell the excitement because listen, y'all, let's just be real. We know that these kids know that they got guys in front of them. They got NFL guys in some cases in front of them. But if you get to play in the game on national television as a true freshman and you're making plays in front of your parents, I mean, you could just see how fired up. Now, Nevada, I was so salty for Aaron Scott. He's not a freshman, he's a sophomore. But man, I wish he would have got that pick. Hold on to the ball, son. Squeeze that rock because I was so happy for him. He made a nice break on the ball, and you could see how fired up he was. Look at Alford, the linebacker. He got in there and made some plays, and he was so fired up. So to me and Dev, I was on the live stream during the game with Dev, and we were clapping and yelling and more excited for the second half than we were the first half. Jeremiah Smith scores the second longest TD in Ohio State history, and I'm just like, yeah, but that's what's up. But I see Petty John pick up a ball and score, and then pile drive a kid in the middle of the line, and we just go crazy. But now, obviously, listen, we got love for Duke Petty John. He's a part of Buckeye Scoop family. He has a podcast on Buckeye Scoop, so there's a special relationship there with him and Riley and his mother. But still, we just really enjoyed these kids getting in there and taking advantage of their opportunities when they had them. This is what this type of game is for. Can you come out and play clean? Nevada, you are so, this is why I love you, man, because you're so astute. You point things out that a lot of people don't point out, or you at least you remind us of it. And that is, you said it's just Austin P. It's just FIU. That is an excellent point because people love the point, and I'm going to wrap up. I know I'm on my rant right now, but people love to try to douse your fire or throw a wet blanket on something by saying it's just fill in the blank. We know it's Grambling, but it's still football. Kids still had to play. They still had to execute. Can you execute your assignment? Can you make a play? And there were teams that played against equal competition or around the same, and they were not doing that consistently, and it was too close for comfort. And so I'll end with that. Last thing, I got this up because Bo Jackson was number one on my "Are they going to bite as a pup" list. I want y'all to see that. He was my number one guy. Go ahead, Nevada.
Yeah, no, it's look, the challenge in games like this is the players aren't robots. They know they were playing against an overmatched opponent. They read about it all. They know that they're 58-point favorites. They know, that yeah. So a lot of times in those situations, you just roll the helmets out there and go, and that's how you end up Ohio State 3, Akron 2 at halftime. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that happened. So
Yeah.
it's like, you just gotta
Mm-hmm.
you gotta tip your hat to Ryan Day and the entire staff. I just like the way we're playing right now. I I really think I don't need to go on the Matt Patricia Glaze train again, but man, he's got the guys playing hard. I mean, he's got the
Yes.
guy. I mean, they are playing so hard right now, and it's such a coherent defensive scheme in terms of what we're doing. And I just look, that doesn't mean that we're not going to have bad games or bad performances or times when we look out of sorts or whatever it is or whatever. But I know that inevitably will happen, but I'm still gonna enjoy watching Julian Sain complete 16 passes in a row, or
Absolutely.
or Caleb Downs make an interception, or JJ Smith catch an 85-yard or 88, whatever it was, touchdown pass. So no, it was there was a lot to like, and I'll contrast that. This is a nice segue to the team up north. We there's a lot of podcasts out there, a lot of Ohio State podcasts talking about how good Michigan is and how great they're going to be and how great Underwood's going to be and blah 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 and all this stuff. And I'm telling you, I said it all. I've been saying it all often. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I am not seeing what they're seeing. I'm seeing a really flawed, really weak team that struggled against New Mexico. That's going to go into Oklahoma, and I know Oklahoma's not any good, but they're gonna beat the brakes off them.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? They beat the brakes off of them. And Michigan is the perfect gift. They are so Michigan. So what's a Michigan team look like? How about let's have fighting on the sidelines amongst the players. Let's have flipping off the referees. Let's have fighting on the field. Let's have dissension in the locker room. Let's have Sharon Moore with his proverbial deer in headlights look on the sideline, like he doesn't even know what the heck's going on. I mean, they gave it to us all. It was like a cornucopia of Michigan wonder. And even Portnoy after the game's like, we could have lost that game 100-3. If it was, I mean, Oklahoma did everything they could possibly do to keep Michigan in that game, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't keep them in because Michigan's so bad, and Underwood's so bad. The $10 million man, and like I said, that's why all this other these people, these sites, these beat writers, these glazing Michigan. I'm like, man, they're not good. Didn't cover. I mean, it's so stark. The contrasts are so stark. There's like a beginning and ending to this whole magical run by Michigan. Their entire existence was
Year, Nevada. That's been a consistent thing. And now it's just like, are you stupid? Like, we're not surprised by this. I expected a loss against Oklahoma. I just expected.
things are great in Michigan land. People believe that they're great, and they're not. I mean, they're really they're in trouble because they're going to have to go through another coaching change. They're going to have to get another coach in there because and I want to make it crystal clear.
Like, okay, you don't want us, cool. We'll buy you. Okay. You're going to come in here. You're going to lead us to the playoffs. Playoffs, your freshman year, your true freshman year with no weapons on the outside. Like, it's amazing. These idiots, the Portnoys and the Michigan folks, is like the pressure on this kid. And of course, he assimilates, or I guess maybe he's just being who he is. But yes, he has a strong arm. I saw him against New Mexico make a couple of nice throws. He made a really nice throw down the seam. You saw the arm talent, but he has to develop reading defenses. Being able to process, go through his progressions, and all the other stuff that has to come. He's not there now. So you can, when I say talent, you can see the talent if he's developed. He has something to work with. But you're right. Right now, the way they're talking about him, he doesn't have that yet. He just has a lot of mouth and some tools. He's not Braxton Miller, but he can move a little bit. And they're just putting all these extras on him, man, and a lot of expectations. It's just, to me, the NIL. This is the worst part of NIL, in my opinion. When you mix that with the culture of Michigan, it's just a mess.
Yeah, well, I mean, I look, I'm looking at our quarterback situation right now with a new starter, and I'm like, do I have faith in Julian Sain throwing the ball down the field? Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I'll take Julian Sain, and if we have to throw the ball down the field against anybody, and I'm okay with it. And he's only got 2 starts under his belt, and I'm like, I look at Bryce Underwood, and I'm like, they don't trust him to throw the ball at all down the field. I mean, he has one pitch right now, the fastball. He's got no touch. As you said, he doesn't go through his progressions. He can throw the ball hard. He can throw the fastball hard on a line. If you give him those throws, that's the one that he can make. But I mean, I think that they're a mess. I think they're a mess, and I think starting a freshman quarterback, throwing him in there because you paid him a lot of money, because he's got to be the one that does it, man. It's like the one way to mess the kid up for Michigan if you're is doing it the way that they're doing it, is throwing him out there right now before he's ready, because I I mean, he could really spiral down right now, and I think we're starting to see that with what happened against Oklahoma. I mean, I'm not of the opinion that if you just throw guys out there on the field that they get better with reps in terms of time. I think that the I watched the Packers do this for years with Aaron Rodgers, where they let him sit in the bench for 3 years behind Brett Favre, and Jordan Love, where they had him sit for years behind Aaron Rodgers. Having guys sit on the bench for a year or two or whatever isn't the worst thing in the world. That
Yeah.
isn't, that's not the worst path. And going out there before you're ready, when you have to do it, when you're forced, but as to your excellent point about NIL, they paid them all that money. They have to play him now.
Right.
So they can't
Yep.
bench him. They can't bring him along slowly. They have to play him. And I just think I love it because again, I think it's the one way to ruin the kid, and I think they're going about a good start of doing that.
Yeah, man. It's just it's like a domino effect. Like Michigan, the culture, man, you said it so well. Everything is fine. It's like that meme with the dog in the room of fire. I don't know if you saw that before, and it said, "This is fine," and it's just the house is just on fire. It's that. They've stuck their head in the sand on every level, no matter what the scandal was, no matter what the on-field situation is. They've just, this is fine, and we're going to pay. Okay, here, we're just going to throw millions of dollars at a kid who never wanted us in the first place. Come on in, you'll be our savior. We'll throw more money at kids. That is not sustainable. I haven't seen one situation like that so far in this NIL world that's been sustainable. You know what I'm saying? But yet, culture like Ohio State, using the money you do have to go towards proven guys to come back to make sure that the culture is sustained. That's been a great culture. Not just paying anybody to come in, but bringing other guys in from the portal that are good culture guys. That is sustainable. And so I know people are freaking out about NIL not paying. It's just like, listen, man, it's a lot going on. Yes, we want to see some balance and we want to all that, but we have a lot of case studies to say this ain't working. And to me, this is just headed for not a good place. And real quick, Nevada, and we'll adjust this. I see in the chat, they said the screen went blank for 4 or 5 minutes. Fancy said BMO's stream cut out for 4 or 5 minutes for policy violations. I'm assuming it was the Bryce Underwood clip. Usually when I do stuff on Twitter, it doesn't do anything. There's no violation because it's a Twitter clip. But I guess maybe that's what happened. No worries. We'll edit it. We'll fix it, when it actually goes off alive. But that was definitely weird. I appreciate y'all sticking with us. But people were saying they didn't hear what we were saying. We were just talking about that clip and how he was just like, you're a true freshman. You're yelling at an upperclassman in Justice Haynes. It's like, who do you think you are? But at the end of the day, it's the Michigan culture. The kid fits in well. But I don't know if he's going to last there in Nevada with all these hijinks.
Yeah, no, it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing, and but that all goes back to the head. That all goes back to Sharon Moore, and I mean, it's clear that he doesn't have a handle on what's going on. From the flipping off the refs the week before, and the fighting, and the taunting, and just all the hijinks that just comes with that team. It's silliness, but it's silliness that we've come to expect from Michigan. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And shoot, I'm a little gun shy on playing the Tim Brando. So just to be safe, I won't play it, although I don't think it's the same as playing a live game stream. But basically, the Tim Brando clip I was going to play, this was before the game, y'all. And Tim Brando's been around for a long time. 20 years? He's been in this game for 20, 30 years? Tim Brando, Nevada?
Long time, long
Long
time.
time. And so he was talking about, he was hearing that things aren't well between Underwood, his camp, and Michigan. The coaching staff, the development or lack thereof. That's what he was saying in that clip. This was before the game. This was posted early Saturday. And so I was going to play that, but that's basically the gist of it. And then, of course, you see the product on the field and you see his antics on the sideline. And so that's what really prompted us to ask the question, is Bryce Underwood unhappy at Michigan? It's a reasonable question based off of that alone. And so in this new NIL world and transfer portal with a kid, and listen, I'm not knocking the kid and his family. I don't have nothing personal against Bryce Underwood. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is, he dissed Michigan more than once publicly and went to LSU, and he referenced lack of QB development. And then the money comes and then he goes. So what's to stop him from saying, hey, I'm not being developed and LSU's going to match this money? I'm leaving. Who's to say that wouldn't happen, Nevada?
Well, I'm telling you, I'm hearing the same thing, that things are not good with Underwood and Michigan, and that that relationship is definitely strained. And look, Nico Emo whatever his name was, from Tennessee,
Yeah.
left as the starting quarterback at Tennessee to go to UCLA. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this stuff happened. I'm not saying that was a good decision, whatever, because I don't think it was. But the bottom line is, quarterbacks move all the time now, and with NIL, they're more mobile than ever. And Underwood was the most reluctant guy ever to go. I mean, he's from Michigan, from miles away from the campus, and he goes down to LSU, and he's not quiet about it. He's bad mouthing Michigan at every stop, kind of goofing on them. And then, like you said, they throw the bag at him, and everything changes. Well,
Right.
those kind of marriages, those marriages of convenience, there, when there's a test of adversity of that, man, that stuff can fracture really, really quickly. So for Michigan and for him, he screwed up. He screwed up because he went to a bad development situation. He went to a situation where he's not going to, if his dream is to become an NFL quarterback, going to Michigan was not the place to do it. It just
Yeah.
wasn't. There's lots of other places that have a proven record of, getting quarterbacks in the league. And the fact that, Michigan taught JJ McCarthy to hand off, or whatever the heck that they did, you know, that's what he's going to get there. And he's playing with lousy, skill position players. And it would not shock me one bit to see him transfer out at the end of this 7-5 season, or 8-4, or whatever the heck it's going to be, because he's going to sit there and realize, I'm screwing this up. And do I remain loyal to Michigan this whole thing and
Right.
wipe away my NFL dream by being developed by a bunch of clowns over at Michigan? That could definitely happen. I'll stop short of saying I predict that'll happen, but I'm telling you, that's a very live outcome right now. That is a non-zero outcome right now with Underwood, because things are so bad with them, and they're not any better after that debacle in Oklahoma on Saturday night.
No, not at all. And even your boy Steve Dace is like, this is not good. Michigan fans should not feel good about this performance. And listen, man, we weren't surprised. We were only irritated in the chat that Oklahoma was just being stupid and letting this be closer than it should have been. But we were very confident this was going to be a loss. And it's just like, why are Michigan fans so confident? Are y'all stupid? But anyway, the answer is yes, they are. So before we get to super chats, I wanted to say, because thank you for reminding me in the chat, we wanted to at least shout out the Buckeyes in the NFL today. That did really, really well. First of all, Emeka Egbuka caught a touchdown pass for the game-winning touchdown. Great route, great ball from Baker for Tampa Bay. They end up beating the Falcons, and so he clowned. Who else? Marvin Harrison had a touchdown. Justin Fields, they came up short to the Steelers, but Justin played a pretty solid game, threw a touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson. Who else am I forgetting? There's more Buckeyes that did well today, Nevada.
Well, I don't know how Terry McLaurin did, or Jackson Smith and Jigba did today, but Emeka caught two today.
Oh, he got two. He got two. Okay.
Emeka, and I want to give a special shout out to Bill Green, Bill the Bank Green, because he said in our week, we have a great betting thread, and he's like, for a fun prop, you may want to throw some money on Emeka to catch 2 or more touchdown passes today.
Ooh,
He caught pregame. That was 18-1 odds.
he
Cash
nailed
that.
that.
He nailed that one. So, yeah, shout out to the bank on that one. But Emeka balled out. Emeka, I drafted him in fantasy, then had him on my bench. So, but maybe I'll start him next week.
Yeah, now that's a great call out by Bill Green. And Brian Ritchie said JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba had over 100 yards. We're missing somebody else. I think Olave was playing well. I mean, our guys were just showing out. I feel like I'm missing somebody else. But that Emeka Egbuka last touchdown, I know he scored 2, but that last one, that was beautiful to see. Listen, I'm a Browns guy, and they goofed up. They had a chance at the end today, and they blew it per usual, being stupid. Both times the receivers, I don't know what they were doing. They rolled over, and the ball just flew up and went right into the Bengals players' hands twice for interceptions, and so they blew it. But I'm a Buckeye guy first, so I want to see the Buckeyes do well in the NFL, no matter what team they're on. And so that's just where I'm at. But anything on that before we get to super chats, Nevada?
Nah, it was fun. I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy, and it was just fun watching Aaron Rodgers, who a lot of people just completely written off, like, oh, what's he doing? Why are the Steelers getting Rodgers? He's a bum. 4 touchdown passes today, no interceptions, drives them down the length of the field at the end for a field goal, and they beat the Jets. So, I mean, that's one of the more remarkable things to see. A guy at that age with limited weapons. It's not like Pittsburgh's got a ton of weapons. 4 touchdown passes. Love me some Rodgers. Saw Jack Sawyer out there doing his thing. He wasn't particularly effective, but just saw Buckeyes all over. Tyleek Williams running around. I mean, it's just so fun to see. We've got so many Buckeyes in the at the next level, but we certainly own the wide receiver room. That's for darn sure.
Absolutely. Rodgers, discount double check. He's back.
He's back.
He is back. All right. Retire. Number 75. Thanks for the 499. OK is not a great team. Oklahoma, meaning, it's not a great team, and they still dominated Scum. They made mistake after mistake, and Scum still couldn't take advantage. 3 to 4 more losses coming. I agree. Like, just flat out. We didn't go into, again, we did not go into this game thinking Oklahoma was some juggernaut. We knew they were goofy and had deficiencies and were coming off a bad game, but we saw John Mateer. He's more experienced. He has some talent. It's at home. We saw Michigan play against New Mexico. We were not, and Michigan fans, I mean, they were just Nevada, insufferable. You would have thought this cat went out and beat Texas week 1. That's how they were talking. I mean, like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, yeah, the kid has some talent. It was New Mexico. Like, are you serious right now? So yes, retire. I absolutely agree. 3 to 4 losses definitely coming, in my opinion, as well. Nevada.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, in a game between Grambling and New Mexico, what that's a 17-14 game one way or another. So it's basically the same opponent. What do we have? Lincoln or Julian was like 18 for 19, and Lincoln was like 6 for 7 or 7 for 8 or whatever it was. So it's like, yeah, you better look good against a bad opponent like that. And he didn't even do that. And Underwood didn't even look that good against New Mexico. That's why I
Right.
knew he'd soil himself against Oklahoma. Yeah, and Oklahoma coming off a 6-6 season last year. That's where Oklahoma's at. So no, yeah, I totally agree. I think 8-4 is probably right. I think they could certainly get down to 7-5 by the end of the year. And I just think they're a mess. And you think as an Ohio State fan, you always just think about it, man. If we had back-to-back 5-loss seasons, the entire state would be on suicide match. But I think that's probably where they're at. They're in that 4-loss, 5-loss thing, and the next year's not going to be any better. So I don't know where that program's going, but I love the fact that Sharon Moore's taking them off the cliff.
Yeah, I mean, 3 losses would be like the absolute best case scenario, in my opinion. Like, if they really want to shoot for the start, like 3 losses is like that's the best they'll do, in my opinion. And real quick, their narrative now, Nevada, is Oklahoma's defense is elite. That's their narrative now. I promise you, on my Buckeye page, one dude said
Oh
top 3
god.
defense.
Oh
That was a
god.
top 3 defense. I'm just like, y'all,
Oh
man, y'all know how to cook it up, man. It's just amazing, the stupidity. All
yeah.
right, here we go. Chris Lane, thanks for the 5. I remember back when Team Up North fans would talk about how smart their students are and how their culture far exceeded Ohio State's. What's happened? Well, Chris Lane, that was never true. They were exposed years ago. I forget who did it, but there was a little report that came out that showed the courses. Remember this, Nevada? The
General studies. General
yeah,
studies.
general studies. It showed, actually it was in the WAC, because in recruiting, what sparked this off in Nevada, I know you have insight with your connections. What sparked this off was on the recruiting trail, Michigan would, quote unquote, negative recruit against Ohio State, trying to say their academics and there's more prestige with Michigan. And yes, Michigan is a very good public school. We know that. But they were trying to make it seem like their kids were just taking all these hard courses, and they weren't. And that was proven out, and it was publicized. And so, yes, Chris Lane, Nevada, you want to give more insight into that? Because I'm sure you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, again, it was back in the day before there was the APR, the Academic Progress Report, and yeah, they would talk about all the different, the quality of the Michigan program in general, without getting into the football program in particular, because those are two very, very different things. And while I think Michigan's probably has a better academic profile than Ohio State does nationally as an institution, from a football point, I mean, it's funny that we've come full circle now, because in 2024 and 2025, Ohio State now has a perfect academic progress report. We are number one, a perfect 1,000 in the academic progress report. The only other school that had it 2 years ago was Harvard. Was
Harvard,
the other
yeah.
school, what I'm saying? So that's where we are. That's the quantifiable. This isn't talking about the general school at as an institution or U.S. News and World Report. We're talking about specifically the football team. We have a perfect academic progress report. So not only are we kicking their butt on the field and kicking their butt with culture and kicking their butt in every other way, academically, there's literally nobody in college football that is better than, not even the Ivies is doing academics better than Ohio State, and that's an amazing place for us to be.
Yep, definitely. Absolutely. All right. Actually, here we go. Mike Green, thanks for the 199. By the way, wide receiver you in the NFL has been on fire. Yes, Emeka 2 TDs today. Yeah, as we mentioned earlier. Yep, 2 TDs. And then how about this? Your first NFL game, your first true, not preseason, but true NFL game, you catch the game-winning pass. How beautiful is that, Nevada? I mean, he has to be. This couldn't have happened to any better kid. You talk about everything you just mentioned, Nevada. He checked off all those boxes. His grades were outstanding. He was outstanding on the field, outstanding off the field. I mean, he's leading freaking revivals and praying for people and leading people on the field and just an outstanding young man. Remember, Nevada, the NFL scouts were raving about his interviews. He was consistently the top 2 in interviews. Those are the type of kids that Ohio State has been producing. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's the that's the guy you want your daughter to meet and take home to meet dad type of player. That is just an outstanding young man. And it's funny because Baker Mayfield, who's really grown on me. I used to not like Baker Mayfield, and I always say I reserve the right to change my mind. And I actually like Baker Mayfield now. And he was calling it out in the preseason. He's like, "Watch out for a Mecca.
Yeah.
This guy's way better than people know." And then he comes dials up 2 touchdown passes to start. But no, to your point, great player, but probably even a better person. And that is the kind of guy, the kid that Ohio State's recruiting right now. And that's, you recruit your own problems. And Ohio State's just done an unbelievable job of staying away from that. And, I'm not saying that kids that want money are problems, but if that's your first priority is the money, the amount of money that you're going to get, you're probably not a good fit. So the recruiting does kind of self-select, and kids like JJ, kids like Emeka, kids like Brandon, kids like Milan Graham, kids like Carnell Tate. It's not the money. They're looking at the bigger picture. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. They want to be part of Zone 6. They want to be part of wide receiver U, getting to the next level and making the hundreds of millions of dollars, and are not so worried about picking up an extra $100,000 here. And that's what sets Ohio State apart from all these other programs that are going right now, is that type of culture.
Definitely. That's so well said. And yeah, I mean the Devin Sanchez's and the Petty John families and those they have accepted the 40-year plan and not just the 4-year plan. They see the bigger picture. These are parents who decided not to take the highest bidder, knowing that the culture at Ohio State is outstanding, development is outstanding. Excuse me. But not only that, they know the opportunities to get paid are great here. Caleb Downs makes a ton of money. He didn't come in making that, but look what he's making now because he's at Ohio State. So, and obviously his talent, but Columbus and our market, and that's the point. And I'm glad you brought that up, Nevada, because yes, we want to compete, but we also have to maintain our culture. And even Ryan Day said, if the first thing that you lead with is money, then you're not for us. It's not that you won't get paid. It's not that we don't want to hook you up with NIL, but that's not the first thing, because that's just not what we're about here. So anyway, all right, next one. We got Ian Bates. Thanks for the 199. Saying equals best arm talent in the country. Number 1 pick 2027. Yeah, man. That ball, again, when the players kept saying Nevada, he throws when you hear he throws a catchable ball, some people want to understand what that is. But if you see the rotation on the ball, it's just like feathery soft, but it has velocity. I mean, it's just pretty. It's hard to explain, but when you see it, right, Nevada?
Well, yeah, when you see the ball just come out and just with no wobble, no ripples, no nothing, just perfectly spinning through the air, and it just goes right in there. It is an easier ball to catch, because those balls that are wobbling, they don't fit in your hands the same way as the ball that's just spinning that way. And I mean, he's always been able to spin it. He's been able to spin it since he was 12 years old, and he's just got a beautiful throwing motion, perfect mechanics, and he's really, really smart. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, Ryan Day said when he threw that interception, which to me was a good thing, because it showed that he's not a robot, and that we can stop believing that he'll never throw an interception or something. He knew immediately. He diagnosed immediately what happened before he ever got off the side. I mean, he knew
Oh yeah.
exactly what the problem was, and he'll be smarter for it. And that doesn't mean he won't make a different mistake, down the road or whatever it is. But this kid, that's why when people talk about arm talent, Julian Saint's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about strong. I mean, because his arm is plenty strong. I mean, he can throw it plenty far. He can throw the out. He can throw everything with velocity. But he puts it in the perfect spot, and the ball comes out without a wobble on it. Makes it easy for the guys to catch. To me, that's arm talent, and I agree. He's going to be a top pick in the draft in 2027. Hopefully not till 2028, but probably 2027 for sure.
Yeah, I mean that throw over the middle to Kazmarek was just beautiful. I mean, it was just perfectly placed in stride. I mean, you can't throw it any better than that. And I know some people wanted to nitpick about the throw to Jeremiah Smith, but I mean, I got to watch the all 22 to see how much he had to stop, but it still looked pretty. It looked pretty to me.
Saint can't throw the deep ball. Saint can't throw the deep ball.
Let's start it now.
Let's
Let's
start it
start it up
now.
now.
Can't throw the deep ball.
Oh man, here we go. All right, Nicholas Smith, thanks for the 499. I think Oklahoma is bad. Look at their schedule. Second, Michigan has no coaches that can actually coach an elite quarterback. Also, facts. Yeah, I mean Oklahoma. We're going to see. That's the good thing. We're going to see these teams down the stretch, but I do not think Oklahoma's a juggernaut. I'm not convinced they're a playoff team right now. I'm just convinced Michigan is mid.
Playoffs. You're talking about the
Playoffs.
playoffs. You're talking about the play. I mean, if they go 8-4, it'll be a miracle for Oklahoma. That'll be an absolute miracle. There's no way that look at their schedule. I'm telling you, there's no way that they go. Man, that they in the SEC. It's like they're not going to go better than 8-4.
Okay, so real quick, they got Auburn at home. They got Texas at home. They're at South Carolina, Ole Miss at home, at Tennessee, at Alabama, and then Mizzou, and then LSU.
I'm telling you, they're not going to go. They won't go 8-4. They might go 7-5. They might go 6-6.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, they got at least maybe. I think their ceiling, the highest ceiling, 4 losses.
That would be really good. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Eight
I think 4
is,
losses would be a good season for them.
that'd be a good season for them. I totally agree.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Will the Thrill. Thanks for the 499. How do you think Julian and the Young Bucks handle the environment in Washington in a few weeks? That game has me nervous. So I think, okay. So here's some evidence that the coaches, because Nevada, we assume just using logic and critical thinking skills that the coaches understand that their first road game is in a tough environment and it's a conference game. So let's make sure our guys are working towards getting prepared for that environment, right? Well, Jeremiah Smith, in one of his interview after the game, he mentioned Washington. Okay. He mentioned Washington. He was talking about execution and I forget exactly what he was hitting on, but it was basically execution. He mentioned looking forward towards games like Washington. Okay. I think he was talking about handling that environment. So, when you hear players say certain things, Nevada, like I know, because a lot of players in interviews, they'll repeat a mantra. They'll repeat a coached up mantra that they hear throughout the week, and they're just repeating what their coaches said. So Will the Thrill, that they're trying to prep them for that. So there's no game on the schedule right now that can prepare them for a raucous road environment. But execution, discipline, knowing your assignment, knowing what you're supposed to do out there, that is what you can really hit on to, at least when you get to that environment, you can lean on your training, you can lean on your execution and all of that. But that's kind of my take on it, Nevada. What you got for that one?
Well, look, that's why I was glad to see Ohio State going to Tempo against Grambling,
Yeah.
because Tempo is a great crowd beater. It's a great, way to kind of keep yourself organized. And I was going to see how crisp we looked when we were running Tempo, and we looked pretty darn crisp. And
Yeah,
so
we did.
I thought that was a really good sign. I think you're going to see more of that. And for Washington, I mean, here's the good news. The good news is we have a bye the week before that game. So they're going to get our full attention in terms of it. 1, 2, nothing galvanizes the guys like a good road game. I'm telling you, a good road game, good road environment. I think it's the perfect tonic for Ohio State at that point in time. Coming off the Ohio U game, I always worry about letdowns against Ohio U, but the Ohio U beat West Virginia. I'm hoping that we're geared up enough that we can get there. Then we've got a week off. Then we play them, and then Washington. I think people. I mean, Washington kind of struggled the first week of the season against Colorado State. I mean, they beat them 38-21, but they kind of struggled. And Colorado State struggled against Northern Colorado this week. I think they beat them 21-17. So don't get fooled by that. I mean, Washington hammered something this week. It was UC Davis. They played UC Davis this week. So I don't think Washington. I think let's put it this way. I think Washington's the perfect road opponent for us for us to kind of find our mojo, get out there on the West Coast, get out there in the game. Washington not an easy place to play, but it's not a super talented Washington team, and I think we'll be. We'll just be better than they are. And I love having a quarterback like Julian saying, who's I'm telling you, the guy I said in my write up today that he's got the standing heart rate up that just above a sloth right now because he is a cool customer, man, and he's not going to get rattled at Washington. And I think they'll run tempo to great effect against the Huskies. I just don't think the Huskies have enough horses to stay with us.
Yep, that's a good point. And as we end this out, looking at the schedule, we've said that this schedule is not easy, but I love as the season is developing and we're seeing teams, Nevada, I love how this schedule is unfolding. It's becoming more favorable. And I'm saying that because of like, for example, you mentioned Ohio, our MAC opponent that we're playing this week, which listen, when we think MAC opponent, we think sleepy Saturday, hope we don't have a letdown. They just beat West Virginia, y'all. I love it. That is just perfect. I mean, listen, the Texas game, all the arch hype, nobody picking us, set up perfectly for us. Now, same thing. We had Grambling, get all the players in, let them play, get excited for practice next week. Now you got an Ohio team coming in here that just beat West Virginia, and then it's a night game on top of that. So no letdown is going to happen, y'all. I promise you, there will not be a letdown. And then, like you said, the bye before Washington, and everything is just setting up nicely for us to manage this schedule. And I love it, man. But so far, so good. This team looks locked in, well coached. And the mistakes that we're seeing, they're going to work on them. And I'm not worried about Julian saying at all. He knew exactly. As soon as that ball released, I bet you he was like, crap. That was a late pass. I should have never threw it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think now that we beat Texas, the schedule is setting up. Had we lost to Texas, things could be dicey. But having beaten Texas, having taken care of our business against Grambling, now we just got to take another step. Just got to improve slightly, get better, stay healthy, beat Ohio U, then take that week off, get completely healthy, go out to Washington, take care of our business, and let's get in the second half of the schedule.
Yep, exactly. All right, y'all. Well, listen, I'll answer your question real quick in the chat, and then we're going to bang out. So actually, no, we go to Washington before Illinois goes to Washington. They asked the question, does Illinois play Washington before we do? They have to go there. They play us the 2 weeks before they go to Washington. Okay. They got to buy after us. Then they go to Washington. So there's your answer. So anyway, but listen, great show, fun show, great weekend. I've been on cloud nine still. Nothing's better than seeing what we saw on Saturday, all the young pups biting, scum losing, and just watching college football and enjoying great NFL today. It's a dream come true. We're back, baby. So we are going to see y'all tomorrow for another game week. We love y'all, Scoop family. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.